Howdy folks, and welcome back to Pool School. Today's video is the first in a series about pool cleaners and pool cleaning systems. We're going to talk about the three main types that there are and then go on from there. Alrighty, before we get started, I want to thank you once again for watching this video. Remind you to like it if you do, subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already, and please share my channel with everyone you know who owns a pool. Also, don't forget to check out my members-only website, poolschooler.com. It'll come across the screen right here, poolschooler.com. It is full of more exclusive members-only content that will help you save even more money servicing your pool yourself. Okay, as I said earlier, this video is the first in a series of videos on pool cleaners and pool cleaning systems. The videos in this series does not include a video on how to manually vacuum your pool. I did a video on that several years ago, and I will put a link to that in the description below this video. So if you're looking for a way to manually vacuum your pool, if you want to go that route, then you can watch that video. Just click the link in the description below this video. Alrighty, as I said earlier, this video is on pool cleaning systems, and in this video I want to keep it fairly short. I'm going to talk to you about the three main types of pool cleaners or cleaning systems there are out there. I'll go into brief detail on each of them, and then in subsequent videos I will go into greater detail as to each type and the pros and cons of each one. So let's get down to those three basic types of pool cleaning systems. Okay, so before we start going and looking at pools and different cleaning systems, let's talk about the three main types. And the three main types, it's a little bit tricky because there's one type that's in the category, one of the three categories. Some people go, well, there's four categories. Well, I call them three categories. I'm gonna start with my favorite style. My favorite style is a true vacuum. It is a suction side vacuum. And again, that is my number one choice for a cleaning system because it actually does what it's described to do. It's a vacuum. It vacuums out dirt and debris. And depending on the type and brand and model that you get, it's going to depend on how efficient and how effective it works. I have a favorite brand. I'll put a link in the description below this video for that one, and you can check it out. And if you want to order one, I'll put a link to it as well. But it would include anything that goes into the suction side of your pool system. So your pool has two sides. It has a suction and a return side. Water sucks out of the pool via usually a skimmer and a floor drain. And if you have a dedicated suction line for your vacuum, it goes through that too. It goes into the pump, through the filter, and then it comes out through the return side of your pool. There is a second type of suction vacuum, and that is a robotic one. Most of the robotic ones, like the Dolphins and things like that, they're much more expensive. And I'll go into detail about all these three different types a little bit later as far as the pros and cons. A robotic style pool cleaner is typically a suction style cleaner also. It sucks water, it's self-contained, you have to put it in the pool every time you want to use it, plug it into a wall, and then it works its way around the pool. Some of them are very high-tech and very expensive, and they memorize your pool's layout, and then they go in and they suck and they vacuum. And they vacuum, some of them will get dirt and debris, some of them will get more debris and less dirt, but that is a suction style vacuum. So that's the first type, is a suction style vacuum. Oh, one more thing. Some of the suction side vacuums that stay in the pool can be plugged into the skimmer as well through a thing called a VacMate. And I will put a link to a video I did on using a VacMate to install a suction side vacuum in your pool in the description below this video if you want to see details on how I did that. But again, that is a suction side vacuum. It sucks through the suction side of the pool and it works its way through the filter, okay? The second type is a return style pool vacuum. I don't really like to call them pool vacuums. More correctly, they're called pool sweeps. And they use a return port that's usually dedicated and a separate dedicated pump that will pull water from the pool, and then as it returns it with pressure, it pushes the water through that pool sweep, and then the sweep has these little arms that fly around in the bottom of the pool and sweep the pool like big octopus tentacles. And then they sometimes have a bag that creates a vortex, and the leaves and debris get sucked up in that. Not a bad idea, but again, that is a return side pool sweep. And then the third type, which is my least favorite, is the in-floor or pop-up cleaning system. And that is a system where you have these heads that are built into the bottom of the pool. They're on the return side as well. Typically, they would have a dedicated motor to run those heads. But what they do is they circulate water and blow water around the bottom of the pool and stir up debris, and hopefully the filter will pull that out. So now that you know the three types of vacuums or cleaning systems, let's go look at each one in a little more detail, starting with my least favorite one, which is the pop-up or in-floor cleaning system. Okay, so this is an example of an in-floor pop-up cleaning system. I guess you could categorize it as a return side cleaning system because it uses water going back into the pool to drive the pop-up heads. But this is the way it's set up. Basically, this is the suction side of your pool, okay? Typically, is your skimmer and a main drain if you're equipped with a pop-up system. Water goes from the pool, up these pipes, through the pump, into the filter, through the filter, and back out. And it goes either to the pool returns or to the cleaning system, which is the pop-up heads. Typically with these systems, you want to give as much as possible pressure to the cleaning system so it drives the pop-up heads sufficiently. And so that's basically how it works. So it comes on the return side. So this is all water going back to the pool, down through those pipes and into the pool. And the majority of it is going to the cleaning system. So let's take a look at it. So once the water goes out of the filter through the return pipes, it comes through this thing called an actuator, which is basically the control center that tells the pop-up heads which section to pop up at a time. So you don't have them all popped up at the same time. They pop up in sections. So I'll show you what that looks like. So we're gonna come over here to the pool, and this is the pool. And if you notice, right here on the step, you can see the best example. There's a pop-up head right there. And there's a whole set of pop-up heads, and they're in sections. Certain amounts will come up at any given time as they rotate through the actuator. And you notice the water, surface water is moving right now. That tells you this pop-up system is moving pretty good amount of water. But you'll notice there's a pop-up head, it's up. You see the one on the bottom there, it's up off, it's elevated. That's how it works. And what will happen is it'll stay in that position for a little bit, and then as the actuator turns, kind of like the gears in a clock, it will close that section off, open another section, and those will pop up, and it'll start to move water that way. And they'll cycle through that as long as the pump is running. So that's how a pop-up system or in-floor cleaning system works. This one actually works fairly decently, but we'll talk more about that in future episodes. Okay, so the next type of pool cleaner is the return side pool sweep. I don't like to call them vacuums because they work on more of a sweeping mechanism where the return water flows through it. Even though, if you notice from the top of this one, there is a part of it that actually does allow you to vacuum a little bit. I'll explain in a second. But typically these work on a return side. And the reason I'm showing you a picture of one is I don't actually have any clients who have any return side pool sweeps like this or anything like that. So this is one made by Polaris, and it works again on the return side. So what happens is water leaves either the filter and is coming back into the pool through a dedicated line. You're going to need a dedicated line. Sometimes, or most of the times, the pool itself is equipped with a separate pump and motor that will move the water just for the pool sweep, and then that return water blows through that pool sweep. The white thing that has the nodules on it, that's the sweeping mechanism, and that thing flips around, the water blows through that, and it sweeps around the bottom of the pool, and that starts to create movement for the dirt and debris. And then I'll show you what happens with the debris as well. So this picture shows the pool sweep underwater and with the leaves around, and you notice there's a white bag on top of the pool sweep. So what happens with that is that as the water is flowing through there, it passes underneath a little opening in there, and it creates a suction vortex. And then that water pulls leaves as it rolls over it into the bag, and then you empty the bag. So it does have that vacuuming capability of sorts. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't vacuum up dirt like a suction side vacuum would do. And that's one of the reasons why I prefer the suction side vacuum over the pool sweep. But the pool sweep would probably be my second best choice. Just wanted to show you that. Alrighty, and last but certainly not least, this is an example of my preferred type of cleaning system, which is a stay in the pool suction side vacuum. This is one of my clients' pools. They happen to have not only a suction side vacuum, but they have my preferred type, the Barracuda G3. I did a video on why it's the best one that I think of in my experience, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below this video if you want to watch that. Excuse me. Again, you can see that a suction side vacuum has a dedicated, typically has a dedicated suction line that is tied into the wall. Then it goes over through pipes under the ground, into the filter or the pump. And again, if you notice at the front of this, it's a little loud, but that's the suction side. You notice I have about 75% of the suction to the vacuum, which is normal, and about 25% to the skimmer. But again, this works off the suction side of the pool system, and it is a true vacuum, meaning it actually vacuums up, sucks out dirt and debris, which ends up, the larger debris ends up in the pump basket, or if you have an inline leaf canister, you can use the inline leaf canister if you got excessive debris, and then the rest of the dirt filters through the filter, and that's how that works. So there you have it, folks. That is my first video in a series of videos on pool cleaning systems. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, there are 3 basic types: the suction side pool cleaners, which also include robotic cleaners because they happen to work on a suction principle, even though they're not my favorite. The second category is return side or pool sweeps, and also finally the in-floor pop-up cleaning systems. In my next video, I will be going over the pros and cons of each of these, including the robotics. I'll put those in a separate category so that hopefully you can make an informed decision on which type of cleaning system would best suit your needs and fulfill what you want out of a cleaner. Again, note that in those situations, sometimes there might be cost to convert things from one to another, but I will go over some of those pros and cons. Make sure you set your notifications so when that video comes out, you can check it out. And remember, if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section below this video, or you can also email me directly. My email address will come across the bottom of the screen. It is kennypoolschool@gmail.com. Once again, kennypoolschool@gmail.com. Until we meet again, I want to thank you again for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to check out my membership website, poolschooler.com, and I will see you next time. Remember to have fun, be safe, and always watch those kids and elderly folks and pets around water, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.